Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you did not know, my name is Robin and today I will be going through my TBR list for September. It's September already and that makes me feel sick because the year has gone so quickly. This is sort of a call out video for myself because half of my books are half read, so I want to be able to finish them by the end of the month so I can move on to some new releases that I'm quite excited about. Let's just dive in, and here are my books that I want to read by the end of September. So the first book I want to finish is Just by Looking at Him. I am 41 pages into this book and at the moment I'm not quite loving it, and you know, I've only ever DNF'd one book in my life and I don't think I want to do this with this one because it is quite a short book. I received this in a book box and the reviews aren't great on this book, which is a shame, but I want to be able to get through and finish it, and hopefully I will start to enjoy it the further I get into it. But I think because the first 41 pages were quite a lot that I just put it down and never really came back to it. This book has disability and queer rep and follows the main character Elliot, who has a boyfriend and has this sort of like perfect life sort of thing, but he then begins to cheat on his boyfriend with other people who sort of fulfill his sexual fantasies a bit more than his boyfriend does. His boyfriend is sort of a big carer for him and he loves him very much, but the sex is just a little vanilla for him, so he goes and seeks out other guys and to sort of fulfill this fantasy for him. The reason I put this down is because the character is not very nice. The main character Elliot doesn't seem very nice, and although he does have like this loving relationship, he does talk about the struggle about wanting this like nice relationship, but also talking about this sexual side of himself that he wants fulfilled. But this is why I put the book down, I think, because it came off very strong. I'm not a prude, but there was a lot going on in the very first half of this book, so I'm very excited to see where else it goes. But at the moment the main character isn't particularly likable. I just feel like one conversation would probably have sorted this whole thing out. But the next book I want to finish for September, and this is also a new release this year, is Big Swiss. I feel like most people have heard about this book, and if you're part of the gay community, I picked this book up because Jodie Comer is playing in a film that's being adapted from this book, and it's a lesbian book, so as someone who's a Killing Eve fanatic and also very upset with how it ended, I'm very excited to be diving into this book. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews though about it. I'm 57 pages into this one and I am really enjoying it so far. I think the main character is unlikable, but I think that there is reason to her being unlikable and a bit creepy, so I am quite enjoying that aspect of it at the moment. And if you've not heard of Big Swiss, it follows Greta, who is a transcriber for a sex therapist. She's recently single and she becomes fascinated with this one particular client that she's transcribing for. So this is also I feel like I've pulled out the two sex books first. I don't know where it's going so far, but I'm just sort of at the beginning of the interest forming about the other person on the other end of the line, so I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I'm hoping it has sort of like a creepy vibe to it maybe. I'm not sure, I don't know, but I have high hopes even though the reviews are very mixed. We shall see if this is okay. The next book I want to finish, because I've half read this as well, is Tomorrow, which I have heard, obviously, this is like one of the best books to come out this year in everybody else's words. It's a big book, alright? She's a little chunky. It's probably the reason I have not finished it yet, because I do struggle with chunkier books because they're a little bit daunting. As someone who has read Priory of an Orange Tree, like, they're a little bit daunting, but I have very much enjoyed what I've read so far. I'm 106 pages in and there is 478 pages. So I've been really enjoying this book, but again, I just want to finish it because these books that I'm showing off have been like half read for a good couple of months now, and I want to be able to get past them so I can read some new stuff. But this is really incredible so far. I'm really enjoying the story. If you have not heard anything about this book, basically about two friends called Sam and Sadie who create video games together, which is the very basic explanation. It's about love, friendship, it has disability representation in it, and it's really touching so far. It's about these two friends who were close when they were kids and they sort of grew apart, and they have now found each other back in college, and they are creating a video game which we find out in between became very successful, and they are both very successful people, but they no longer talk to each other, and we find out in between these chapters why they became so close, what happened during their childhood, why they stopped speaking. Then we find them making this game in the college aspect, and we also get these like inserts from interviews that they do many years down the line of why their games were so successful, what they think of each other, and it's very interesting. It's very well written, and I think it definitely deserves the praise. Like I said, I'm only 100 pages in, but I definitely understand the praise for this book already, and so I'm very excited to be able to finish this and hopefully finish it this month because I am really enjoying it. So this one, this next one, I feel ashamed for not finishing it because of how tiny it is, and also as such a big fan of the author, I feel like I've let myself down by not finishing this already. But the next book I want to be able to finish this month is Small World. I'm really enjoying this book, I think, a lot more, even though this author's last book was absolutely incredible. I think I'm enjoying this a lot more, which is just saying to the author's work and also writing skills and ability. This book is only 242 pages. It is tiny. This is one I definitely want to finish this month because I absolutely adore this author's work. This book follows a character called Stephen and is set across 3 summers of Stephen's life, and talks about his relationship with music and his family. The last book, Open Water, had an incredible soundtrack to it. There was a lot of talk about music and how intertwined music is with the story, and I think this book has very much leaned into that. Very talented author, very incredible as well. This one may be a stretch. If you've not watched any of my other videos, you should, but Her Majesty's Royal Coven follows a team of witches in the UK and focuses on friendship, queerness, transness. It's a really incredible storyline, and we had like a big fight at the back end of the book. And I think the last book was a lot of world building and putting a lot of things into place. When you read a fantasy book, it is a lot of world building. It was never boring, the first book, but everything's starting to really kick in this one, which is super exciting. It's really incredible. I'm really blown away by this book, and I'm so excited to finish it. And because I'm consuming it as an audiobook, I'm hoping to get through it pretty quickly, just because I usually do with my audiobooks. I am 4 hours and 49 minutes in, and I have 10 hours and 47 minutes left. So I'm hoping over the next week or so that I should be able to completely destroy that. This is only the second book, but I am in so much love with this series, and it has a special place in my heart, and I genuinely can't wait for the next couple of books to come out already because I love this book. It's great. The next one I want to finish is Invisible Women, which I'm consuming via audiobook as well. I have done quite a big chunk of this book, but there are a lot of quite heavy subjects and triggering sections of this book, so it takes a lot longer to get through. It is a book that is shining light on women's issues, things that we don't talk about as a society enough, and also like data gaps where we have not collected or thought about women in the process of making things like bathrooms or roads or travel. Like, it touches on a lot of topics that we don't really think about. I was brought to attention of this book by people reading sections of the book out on TikTok, and there were some really incredible points to it, and so I'm hoping to finish that by the end of the month because, like I said, I'm on a non-fiction kick this year and it's been incredible. I have loved every like non-fiction book I've read, So I'm very excited to be able to finish this. And the last book I have, I'm not too bothered about finishing it, but I would like to finish one of the stories because it is made up of multiple stories. But I definitely want to start it, and I definitely want to read a couple of the stories from inside of it, and that is Transmogrify, which is first of all, the most beautiful cover from any book anywhere. This is such a gorgeous cover, and I picked this up in a Waterstones. I knew that this was meant to be coming out this year, but I can't believe they were selling it in a Waterstones, so I picked this up because obviously. And it is 14 Fantastical Tales of Trans Magic. It's a YA book that focuses on different gender expressions going through different fantasy settings, because trans people should be allowed to enjoy magic too. I'm very much want to dive into this book, get it started, at the very least get it started, but it would be amazing if I could finish this month as well. And also I can't get over the cover. I genuinely want it as a framed picture of art because it's so beautiful. There's these 7 books I hope to try and finish this month. I am a very slow reader, so I feel like I'm setting the bar a little too high. Because the majority of them are already half read, I'm hoping that that gives me a head start and hopefully gives me a chance to be able to get through and read them. Like I said, I've just been very busy, so if I've been somewhere, I just sort of like pick up a book and I'm like, oh, I've got 10 minutes to spare, I'll read some, and then I put it back down again, and that's how I end up with like, I've read 30 pages here and 100 pages there. I'm very excited to finish them off and hopefully make some reviews on the side when I do finish them off, because I really do enjoy doing review videos. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe where you can find more content exactly like this, and I shall see you next time. Bye!